Can I ask, how many when do we keep meeting until, and when do we take a break? I don't have that marked off anywhere.
I think we
Session
have
of-
3 more after. I think we have 3 more, including today. That's my recollection. Today,
2 and 2.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. I feel
Anyone
like
know the
June
date?
19th is the last one,
Yeah.
I think.
June 19th.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't be here because I am going to Europe on my 2-year delayed 50th birthday trip.
Oh,
Congratulations.
that's
Thank you.
wonderful.
So yes, so I will be, I won't be here. Sorry, there's just no way.
Good for
Where,
you.
where are you
Yeah.
going? Different places?
Yes, thank you for asking. I'm going to Italy, to Cinque Terre, and then
Oh,
have you been anybody who knows things about it to tell?
wonderful.
I know
You
that this
been,
is,
Lynn?
I know you should take walking shoes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's-
Yeah, well, we're going to hike, so hopefully our
Lovely.
feet hold up.
Oh, that's
You know,
great.
the little villages go up and up and up.
you have to have
Mm,
ahead of time.
You have to do what ahead of time?
Have reservations. It's crowded.
Good.
Can I just go back to the dates real fast? So I had that. Okay, so the last force is on the 19th, but today is the 22nd of
Right.
May,
Mhm.
right? So we don't meet the
Mhm.
29th. Are we supposed to meet the 5th? I see.
Yeah.
Yes, I miscounted the weeks. Okay. We're supposed to meet the 5th and then the 19th.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And-
the fifth will be your last.
Right, right.
And we're doing projects. People are sharing their projects. The 5th, right? And then the 19th,
Okay.
we'll have our summary conclusion celebration.
Okay.
Lynn, did you go? Or did you come back so fast?
It's hard to
Yeah.
tell.
Wait, something.
You know what it looks like? It looks like your camera is on, but not picking anything up because your name is in the corner like a real photograph person.
Why wouldn't it be picking anything up?
I don't know. Did anybody did the cats throw up on your lens?
No.
The camera thinks it's on, only it's either it thinks it's too dark, or
Somewhere else.
are there lights on where you are?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Your
Oh,
camera,
Lynn.
your camera is on though. It's just not showing you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google.
I think because I had a surgical procedure this morning on my foot, and they gave me a lot of, of anesthesia and all kinds of stuff. And so the camera doesn't think that I should be
Uh-huh.
displaying.
Oh, you have a judgmental camera.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
I didn't spring for the extra money for a judgmental camera. My camera will show me no matter what I look like.
this one is very protective, and it's sort of old fashioned, like the 50s.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, does it show your foot?
It doesn't show my foot, but nobody would want to see my foot. It got caught in the elevator and it was all squashed, and
Oh, Lynn.
yes, it was horrible.
Oh, bless your heart.
But this team that sort of worked on it and cleaned it up or something this morning was a wonderful team. All these people, and they were all very nice and very competent, and hopefully it will be healing better now. But I may, just as a warning, that the local anesthesia, is wearing off. So if I have too much pain, I may have to leave.
Oh,
I'm
Mhm.
hoping, I really want to be here, so I'm hoping.
oh.
It
When did it happen?
happened actually 3 weeks ago, but instead of healing, it got worse. So that's why I had to have this procedure.
Hmm,
And you
Um,
have to go back?
hmm.
well, I'll go back to check it out, but
Mhm.
yeah, it should be all okay now.
Oh, good.
Hopefully.
We
So
were
sorry.
worrying about you.
Oh,
Oh, thank you for worrying, Susan.
Helped you get better.
may have. You know, if you worry, most of the things you worry about don't happen, right?
I don't know
That's
about
right.
that is a philosophy. My first partner worried about me constantly, and she would say that that's a Jewish form of love.
Oh,
So I don't know. Susan is borrowing it.
Yeah.
hey, she's no longer your partner.
No, that was
Person.
my first one.
Yes, yes,
That was a long time ago.
yes.
I'm gonna actually turn my computer off and on again. So please just continue the
Good
meeting.
idea. Good idea.
Yeah, it's definitely something with your camera setting, right?
Yeah,
Something weird. So maybe it can reset it all and
I just
yeah.
click on the camera and see if that does something.
Sudie, do you remember your Acer laptop that you used to have?
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I'm on now.
Oh, no kidding.
No kidding.
It's working beautifully then.
It is.
It's running Linux,
It's
Oh.
running what?
Oh,
the Linux operating system.
I don't know what that is, but
It's a different
good
operating
for it.
system. You had Windows on it, and this is Linux.
nice.
Oh.
And is it still free, Jim?
Is it still what?
Free.
Linux is still free, yes. Unless you-
Amazing.
there's some versions that you have to pay for.
Mm.
If you
Oh.
want to pay, some
Yeah.
people want to pay.
Oh, they do. Yeah,
They do.
Businesses want to pay so they can blame somebody.
exactly.
If
Yeah,
you don't pay, you don't get to blame anybody.
that's right. You're not a victim if you don't pay.
Ah,
Linux is a very old in terms of computer standards, but wonderful deal because think of what we pay to get this Microsoft service or Mac, whatever Max is.
Hmm.
It doesn't just come. It somebody pays for it, and that's us. Whereas Linux
Mhm.
is just all free. Of course, you got to be like Jim and know what to do because it also doesn't give you step by step everything.
I don't know what to do. When I tried to get on before, it made me update my Linux, set it with version too old. I thought I updated it and it told me
Yeah.
I didn't. I
Uh,
had all the same problems everybody else has.
okay, well, I was thinking, oh, Lynn is still here.
Yeah,
No.
I'm
Oh.
sitting around. I'm
and
with
get ready.
just-
Hey, Lynn,
yeah.
would you mind if we did a little check-in maybe while we're
Oh, don't wait for me and please do a check-in.
yeah.
So yeah, Lynn, do you know how to get out? Sorry, BJ. Do you know how to get out, Lynn?
Yeah, I can. I'm just looking at these video settings and then I'm gonna yeah,
Restart.
just
Yeah,
restore.
yeah.
So Rachel, are you there?
Uh,
If so, are you tell us?
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I was gonna just ask you about what's so crazy at work as your check-in.
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's so crazy at work?
It's just everything is coming due at once, and some of the things are like very out of
there are things that are just kind of overwhelming in and of themselves, and they're just like, it's not my forte to be working in certain realms that I'm working in. So it's just, I'm feeling very pressured. Like I literally am up against the clock, and I have clients who want stuff and I can't turn it around quickly, and things are taking a long time, and then there are these complications, and I have just a lot to attend to. So it's making me feel really stressed and stretched, and like just like a lot of demands, and yeah, so a lot of pressure and a lot of things that are out of my not capacity, but like comfort zone, and my like out of my whatever, what I feel what I'm natural with, or what comes easily to me. So that's kind of what it's a lot at this, that's all kind of happening at the same time. It just so happens from different clients and different people who want stuff and are like, you said next week, now it's the next week, and why aren't you getting it? But I can't seem to do it faster or make more time. And there are other stressors, like just stuff with my trip that wasn't planning, that I now do need to plan, and that's not in my wheelhouse at all, and that makes me really stressed. And yeah, so I don't know if that's a very good, it makes me feel like grumpy, stressed, and not good, like not good about myself, not good about the work I'm producing, and I feel angry, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm honored that you came to us tonight.
Thank you.
Glad you
Thank
did.
you.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yep. With all the puttering around, I was feeling very like touch and go there for a minute. I wasn't going to stay, or I was going to leave and come back on
Oh.
after we start with a substantive meeting. But I
Oh.
just, because I feel like I only have so much energy, like I'll collapse after 2 hours, and I have to make sense of what I did today at some point, because I won't, it's all in midstream and mid-entry, and it probably would, like a more work committed person would have probably skipped and just stuck with their work, but it's hard
I
to
don't know.
There we
I don't
go,
know.
only you're sideways.
Lynn, you're sideways.
But you're there.
Yeah.
Right. Now what do I do?
Just turn your
Marvin's joined you.
Marvin joined me. We're gonna have
Is
a
that in
side-
sympathy?
Marvin is sideways. Woohoo.
Oh, now
And
Jim
Jim,
too.
there's
Now
another
Jim is
one.
sideways.
All our men.
Let's have a
Oh, now
sideways
you're
meeting.
sideways.
And
This is-
Yoka, how do you do that?
Just turn your thing, your device.
Oh,
Oh, you can do it, Susan. Yes, there she goes.
am I going?
Yes.
You're upside down, Susan.
Yeah, I see it.
But I have a desktop.
So back to Rachel, I just want to say that in the way I would say it in focusing, I would say, it sounds like maybe there's a part of you that thinks you're not as committed as some other people might be. When you said someone more committed might skip this meeting.
Yeah, it's like, I just don't know what is right, what is like when I'm responding to emergency, and like I should not be on the meeting because I have to work, or whether I should try to stick to my commitments so that I'm grounded and that I have continuity, and that's better for my whole system. But it'll put me behind further, and I'm really behind. I can't even like ping people. Are we all sideways now, Jim? Are you making
To
Lynn
me,
feel
you're all
more
sideways, except for Lynn.
comfortable?
Lynn isn't sideways.
Lynn's
But
upside
Marvin's
down.
upside down.
Do you know what I'm supposed to do, Jim?
I don't even know what device you're on. You're on,
I'm on my desktop.
you're on your desktop.
Yeah.
dear.
I don't,
Turn
it's a
it
Mac. I don't know
sideways.
how Macs work.
It doesn't bother, it doesn't bother
Okay.
me.
Okay, let's leave these sideways so we can really
Yeah.
get, I'm distracting this meeting rather than adding to it.
Well, I'll check in next and say that,
Oh, please.
say that, this is now my sixth week, I think. I went to, the surgeon yesterday and, in this surgery, that my left lung was no lobes. It was just one giant lung. And so they were in there with the little scissor hands and they couldn't get it because it was one hunk. So then they had to do that incision across your back that cuts all your nerves and everything.
Oh.
And then they had to saw this lung. But it was good because then they were able to saw lower and they think that they got the malignancy that was visible. So that's a very good news. And the interesting thing about this at this moment, this experience at this moment, is imagining that space that's left inside of me where that huge organ is not there anymore. And when they showed me the x-ray of current, it's really quite beautiful when it does what it's supposed to do. It's like there's a little ocean there at first of liquid, nothing else. And then the rest of the lungs begin to move over there.
Oh,
And
wow.
they move over there. And other organs that thought they might need more space, like the diaphragm might come up just a tad. And so it turns out that, it's really kind of nice because there's more space in there
Yeah.
for the ones that are left. And I've been thinking a lot about that as a hopeful image,
Yeah.
And look how great my hair is becoming.
Uh-huh.
And they say that is, stress related, but I don't,
Oh,
since I discovered this image, I have much less stress.
that's beautiful, PJ.
Well, BJ, you sound great, and your
Ooh.
voice is strong, and you have a lot of emotion, and it's great to see you and feeling that positively.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a journey, isn't it?
Definitely.
The hardest part was I went 2 months and didn't tell anybody.
Oh,
And that was
wow.
very, very hard because they couldn't tell. The lung is a hard place to get a hold of, and they really couldn't tell anything but that there was a malignancy there. And I just didn't want to worry anybody, until we knew. So that was very bad for me. I shouldn't have done it.
No.
Can you say more about that, BJ, about not wanting to worry us?
Oh, should I do it now or should I wait till after the check-in for everybody?
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it, but I would
Okay.
love to hear more about that.
Okay. Later, if it arises, that'll be good. Thank
Well,
y'all for
you
listening.
know what? I think
What's
we're
that?
with it. I feel with it.
How does that, maybe that could be your check-in.
No, I feel, well, I also had some of my lung removed. So, so I feel very close to you about this. And yeah. I mean, I would find that so hard not to know for 2 months and keep it to myself, I think.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Thank
See,
you.
I'm there with you, but
Thank
we will
you.
go on and come back. Let me see what I can say. I saw Jane Truehold, who you,
Oh,
no, I think all of you do, right?
Yes,
Jane.
yes,
Masumi and
Mhm.
Rachel and
yes.
And who's just come on? That's,
We have Masumi in 2 places.
oh, that's what's confusing. Anyway, she sends her love, and we were talking about the force of 2 years ago, I think, is when she was there. And, she remembers it so fondly. And we had a lovely, lovely, honest exchange.
Mm.
She is at Judson Church, where I am doing more there than I used to, and Jane is very active
Mm.
there, especially with the programs they have for immigrants and to help immigrants. She's really doing a lot. That's my check-in.
It makes me smile that you saw Jane, and I would love it if she was able to rejoin us.
Well, she has a book club on the Wednesday that we meet, so I think she can't. We were talking about that.
She's the only one in the book club who knows how to run Zoom. So she has to stay in the book club. Well, this is true. She told me that.
Okay.
Do you know what? I had the thought, oh, I'm sorry for this. Do you all hear the siren?
No.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My thought was that sometimes people leave, but they carry something with them, and and they leave something with us.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
felt that about Jane.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I like that. It feels like almost all the people that have been with us have left something, and we've left something with them.
Mhm. Who would like to go next?
I feel like I already went.
Do you?
Oh, yes.
How about Masumi?
I'm struggling. I'm trying to use my cell phone, and I don't know how to come out. Oh, okay. Let me try to turn off my desktop one.
Masumi, it doesn't bother me that you're on 2. Oh, you succeeded.
Yeah,
You
we
succeeded.
do fine.
No, we can't hear you now. No audio.
But no, you're muted. Still muted.
Oh,
She's lamenting.
yeah. Sometimes on my cell phone, I can't find the left buttons that say
Mhm.
mute and video. Mm. What a technological event we're having.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I like that.
Well, why don't we have the next person go, and while Masumi is figuring out how to
Mhm.
mute herself.
Mhm. How about you, Jim?
How about me? As you see, I'm outdoors. Although it was too hot outdoors, I moved a lot of furniture around out here. Back to where it used to be before we moved it around to be somewhere else. I watched the second half of a very long movie, but I saw the first half earlier. movie called Origin about the writing of the book Cat. And I was not looking forward to coming here today, but I don't feel that way now. So you never know.
You were
So that's
looking,
all I have to say.
you were looking forward to
I
coming.
was not looking forward.
Oh, no,
Oh,
but now
yeah.
you feel
Now
comfortable.
I'm glad I came,
Oh, good.
but we don't know how long that'll last. But
No, we
yeah.
don't.
Well, let us know. It's always.
Yeah. Keep us informed.
Oh, yeah. Lynn, I think I just found how you can rotate your video. Sorry.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, okay, your sound is weird.
really? How's it now?
I can hear her okay.
So, Lynn, do you know how to get on the bottom? On the
Yeah.
left, you have
Yeah.
audio, video. So click on video,
Yeah.
click on video settings. And then on the right side, I
Yeah.
have my video, and then you go to the bottom button. It says advanced. And you click on that.
But I don't see advanced, but I
Oh.
don't want to take the group's time.
Okay. All right. Okay, never mind then. Yeah. Okay.
Marvin,
Hi,
do you have a check-in?
I didn't, but I will. I'm feeling sort of low-key these days. I'm very disturbed by the situation in Palestine, Israel. I played bridge poorly Monday night and embarrassed my partner.
No.
But I feel he may not talk to me again.
Really?
Some people take these games very, very serious. Hey, Lynn, you're right side up. What did you do?
Yes, yoga helped me.
Oh, well.
Good.
Well, we liked you the other way too. So
That's my other persona.
well, it's apropos of saying some people in the bridge world take this game very, very seriously and competitively, and I try to play up to the level that I can, but I make a lot of mistakes, and so I feel it not not quite in sorts when I'm playing in a particular game. Oh, what other things disturb me? I'm not quite sure whether to schedule knee surgery. My symptoms are in and out. I committed to my grandson from Japan coming to San Francisco, and he'll be followed by my daughter, his mother, and my other granddaughter, and it's a little problematic. So there's a lot of stuff going on that's unsettled.
It's a lot.
Unsettled seems like the handle word.
Mm-hmm.
Masumi,
Hi, finally, I am out of the other one that I'm using. I tried to use this as some of you are, but I just didn't know how to come out of it, cut it off. but here I am. But to check in, my concern now is how to make a program, my presentation of interactive focusing to Chinese people that's coming up in June. So it's a sort of annoying thing that I don't speak Chinese. And there's one person who can speak English, and there will be a translator. And I only have 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I cannot, with the translator, I only can give half an amount of contents. And I'm trying to make a program short enough. And also for that, I'm trying to have a recording of a demonstration rather than having a live one, just to save time of translation. And that is going to happen next week in English. I'm doing it with my trainee living in Belgium. So both of us don't speak English well enough. We're trying to make a recording, and that will be translated to Chinese beforehand. That's a really complicated thing for me. And on June 1st and 2nd, I'm having one of the facilitators of level 1 interactive focusing in Japanese, which is much easier for me because we have repeatedly made these presentations, and most of the contents are already made, and we are upgrading each time, but it's very easy to have a basic program. So I am struggling with 2 presentations now, and also one I'm giving face-to-face workshop in a university nearby. I'm volunteering that. And I like face-to-face presentation much better than on Zoom. Yes, with youngsters, that's really something. They're really thrilled. I'm starting the program next week. I just gave a guidance last week. And I really enjoy doing that to university grad students. Well, this time, many are undergrads, and that's something new too. They are very fresh. They don't know much about psychotherapy. It's really interesting that 21-year-old, I don't know, not 21, a freshman in undergrad are really, they are very eager and interested in knowing this. So that's happening. So I'm giving 3 presentations, all preparing for them. And that's really like Rachel, overwhelmed. Yes, that's not annoying, but I enjoy doing it. But I need energy to do it and time to do it. Meanwhile, I'm growing vegetables, which takes, a few hours a day to go and then do some work in the field. Well, thank you. I'm busy, but I'm okay.
I feel so happy and touched that you're doing 3 presentations and that you're enjoying it, and that this is what we want our leadership group to do for us, to produce in us, is that joy of connecting with the world in different ways.
Yes, thank you. But it needs, when I make PowerPoint slides, I use it. I cannot use computer very well, so I make mistakes and I have to do it again and again. That's also a nuisance too. But I'm improving, and for one workshop, I have a technical assistant, which saves a lot of time and energy. Yes. Yeah. But most of all, I enjoy growing vegetables.
Mhm. Yeah, I can imagine, Masui. Yeah, wonderful.
Yoka, what's going on with you?
Ah, um, well, yeah, I was asking myself the question too. And that's yeah, I enjoy the early summer. I notice, like, beautiful trees, and I envy Jim sitting outside, with his trees in the background. And yeah, I love to be outside too, and just enjoy it in the park and biking down the Hudson and seeing the geese with the ducklings or the gooselings, I have to say, yeah. And but yeah, I also feel like I will have quite a busy summer, but kind of busy in a good way, I think. Like, I feel like there are a lot of things happening. My husband being away now, so I have the house for myself. And then my daughter coming next week, and then I think I'm going to see my friend in Poughkeepsie, and then I'm going to go to the Netherlands, see my family, and then like early September, there's this project we're doing in the Netherlands, so I'll go do that. So that will be something that will be kind of ongoing this summer. And it kind of feels good to have all these things lined up, and it's not too much or too stressful. It just feels like kind of all good things. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, but that can change too. Like Jim. But yeah, for now that's this, and I'm glad to see you, BJ. Yeah. So, and I think so. Did we say Isabel isn't able to come this time? She had another commitment. I don't know where Roberto is. I haven't heard. Maybe somebody else heard.
And Kate, we
And
don't.
Kate, yeah. So, and Mary. So small group. Yep.
Did Rachel check in?
She checked in while you were gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, like
Yes.
the other way around.
Yes. So here we are.
Did you check in? Did you check in, Lynn?
Yes, at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I could add to my check-in that I went to Isabel's group, and Susan and Yoka went also, and it was wonderful experience to be with her group, and I felt it like a cousin group, that is supporting community and it was a very beautiful experience. I wondered how people felt about our last session and how people feel about our sort of coming to the end of this season, and all there's so many things here for us.
I remember best Isabel's being very articulate and returning to it, her concern that we make a decision about new people
Mm-hmm.
before it gets right to the end.
Mm-hmm.
What I sent in was that I hoped that we would find some folks who were focusers, and that this might not be the venue for, in effect, teaching folks to focus by modeling it as we go along. If our goal now is so clear that we're to be taking it out and we're not bringing them in to bring them along. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I don't know how others feel about that.
Yeah, I think as this group, we've been working together, and yeah, I don't know how to say that we're at a certain level, I don't know, but a certain way, capability of working, or well, all of us kind of are on a certain level, let's say that. And then I was thinking, yeah, people who don't know focusing at all, I mean, maybe it's also time to think about instead of, yeah, like you said, BJ, not bringing them in this group, but maybe making a new group. Making a second group.
Oh, interesting. Can I say that back?
Please.
It sounded like at the beginning, the image that came to me was the difference in, as Masumi said, in graduate students and undergraduate students. That there's a little bit of, there's a familiarity with the content in the graduate student, and that then they're beginning to get to rise up on that, what was his name? Some Bloom's taxonomy of educational attainment, and that we're able to go deeper because we're more familiar. But then the part you see, is that right?
So yeah, far? I think so. Yeah.
And then the exciting part to me was that you might begin a kind of a force 1, 2 or something, an actual force group, but with people that weren't necessarily focusers. Could be, but not necessarily. Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't saying that I was going to do that.
Well, Lynn is about to ask you any moment.
Like you said it. Yeah, right. Like, oh yeah, provided you do. But somebody, some of us, or one of us.
It sounds like BJ is we don't need Lynn to ask. I think BJ is asking you.
No, I really wasn't. I was only reflecting.
Right. Okay. But it's in the air. That's very exciting. That that some of us would start another group that would meet at a different time.
I think the focusing is important somehow. I don't mean that they have to have a certain amount already, but that I don't think we should forget that what's different about this is that the focusing principles are sort of fundamental to the group supporting it. And and we try to understand what's going on sometimes with those principles, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's saying too much.
What would be the too much about that, Susan?
Well, as soon as I said it, I thought, do we try to understand with the focusing principles, or maybe they're more just interaction principles, not necessarily focusing. That's why I hesitated a little bit when I said what I said.
I think that would be something for us to really clarify for ourselves. What is the difference between focusing principles and interactive principles? You know, when
For
we,
me, they're both, sorry, for me, they're both Ginlin. They're both Ginlinian, except not so much always on focusing. His philosophy, for example, would be very much about interaction.
Who?
Mr.
Ginlin.
Ginlin.
You said, but somebody's very much about interaction and.
Yeah, Ginlin's philosophy.
Ginlin, sorry.
The guy who wrote your article, Susan.
Oh, him.
You know,
Well,
stealing your article.
Mhm.
I did say Ginlinian.
Ginlin.
It's understandable.
Uh-huh.
As people were talking, I had the feeling that I should go back to focusing one. And my thoughts about bringing new people in is that they should be able to interact and they should be able to talk. They shouldn't have to encourage them to participate and pull them along. That's distracting to me when we do that.
Ooh, what if, I mean, there've been people in our group that we've pulled along and I think maybe sometimes they were grateful and it was worth it. I don't know. I just find that a little harsh, Marvin.
Well, I'm not questioning what has happened in the past. I'm just speaking
Yeah.
going forward. We each personally learn by our participation in the group. And I've learned to participate a little less. And okay, that's been my learning task, but I think you understand what I'm saying, Susan, without
I do.
elaborating.
Yeah, I understand it too, I think. Maybe most of it, not all of it, probably not all of it. But I also think that everyone has a right to learn. I mean, we're saying it ourselves. We all learn while we're in the group and during the interaction, and that everybody needs some time for that. And some people need a little bit more than others, and also even some people who, well, you didn't really mention that, but there are also people who say very little but who are very present, and so that or who say very little or very sometimes, but if they say something, and so there are different ways of being present in the group and different rhythms and so I think we should keep all of that in mind,
I'm talking about my preference.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I'm not talking about, this philosophically. I'm just saying that's my preference.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
almost,
must say sorry, but I that kind of pushes me back a little bit, Marvin. Like, yeah, sure, it's your preference. So, well, my preference is, like, I know, I don't quite, you know what? I should say, can you say more about that? Because I really, I have a hard time understanding what you mean with that.
I don't understand the difficulty. You prefer vanilla ice cream or you prefer chocolate? And I'm saying I prefer being in a group where people are happy to participate and don't need urging. That is, they really like to participate. It gives them pleasure to participate.
Yoko, what did you hear from Marvin that
I,
pushed you back?
well, I really have a hard time. I don't know why it doesn't push up people back. I mean, if I hear, I have a preference for people. Now, when you say it this way, Marvin, it does sound a little different, I must say. When you say, I have a preference for people who would really love to participate and who would like to do that. And but does that mean that you want to exclude people who would love that, but who know from themselves that it's not so easy for them, or that they kind of have to, they would like to learn that, to do that a little bit better. And so you want to exclude those people because you prefer people who don't need any pushing and hand holding and like who seem to be reluctant, because I think if people sign up for this, say they want to join the group, that something in them, want to be part of the group and want to participate and want to bring something in. And I think we I feel I want to make place for these people, even though if maybe other people are more preferable.
But
to you.
just to respond, Yoke, I think it would be a challenge for new people coming into an established group, and they need a certain level of confidence to do that. And so I'm saying if people, I mean, I'm not party to the selection process, but if people are not are wary or leery or worried about how they may participate, joining an established group is chancy, is risky for them.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking of from their point of view, as well as from my point of view of wanting people who are willing and ready to participate and to as you are, to challenge me and on what I'm saying.
It took me 3 years.
Yeah, well,
Worth it.
Well, it's not unlike those of us who said we prefer people who are somewhat familiar with focusing, because the nature of the group is now somewhat different than it was 3 years ago. And what comes to me is if Marvin had said interact verbally, it might be what your preference might be a little bit clearer. That for you, the silences are too long to call pauses. They begin to feel more like silences than pauses.
We
Does
have,
does that grab it a bit?
Well, sometimes in the past, when we've had a silence or a pause, we've taken a different direction when we've come back, rather than to carry on with a risky conversation and pursue that. I would prefer that we would carry on with the risky conversation, even if it is risky.
I think this is a wonderful example of a conflict that is happening in a focusing way, right? And I wonder if somebody could reflect the conflict.
Well, I could try. I think
Yeah.
yoga is protecting those people who may have a harder time speaking up, but who very much want to be here and perhaps become more able to speak up. And that yoga, I hear you say, those people have value just as they are. Also can have a presence when they do speak. Okay. Now I hear Marvin expressing, I was going to say frustration, but a preference with people who can respond, who can express something maybe in the nature of conflict, that you value that, that makes it lively, that makes you feel that you can say something and you're not going to hurt the person. You didn't say that. That's my addition. But let me try to get back to you. I think I'm having a harder time reflecting you, Marvin, than I did yoga. This word preference, I think, is important.
Marvin said that he wants people to feel a joy in participating. Is that
Thank
right?
you. Okay. And actively participating.
Verbally speaking.
Verbally. And people who are able to do that and enjoy it.
I think for me, the key is that Marvin, you're joining in with people saying what they hope for, like getting a Christmas present, or we're having a baby sister or a baby brother. What do you hope this sibling will be like? I think, Yoki, you felt that it was excluding the people that didn't fit that preference, that we wouldn't have them. And it seemed like an important conflict because let me go back a step. I gave this some thought over the week, and I thought, what is the reluctance that we're having to open the group to a few more people? And I didn't understand it. And then I said, oh, of course, this is exactly what happens in the world. That we get together, we become a colony, we work through, we have conflicts, we learn things, and then we are the country, and then we're opening our borders. Who are the immigrants that we're going to allow in? And this is the same thing that happens over and over and all over the world and in every group. And usually it's like, well, I want more people like me. And Marvin wants more people like him. And Yoko wants more people like her, and
Like me.
no one, right? That takes time to speak. That seems like our human instinct. Let's have a society of people like me.
Like us, like me.
Yeah, right. If we're
Yeah,
gonna-
that was my thought, definitely, about people who focus. Oh, hell, I wanted them to be certified or something.
Oh, boy.
And my
Well,
preference, my preference.
And from the south.
I want
No.
the people,
But certified, I would have been great, you know?
certified focusers, right? I want people who think theoretically. Asumi, what about you? What if you wanted people like you? What would they be like?
Well, I would like them to keep on trying.
Keep on trying. I like that.
Yeah.
And Jim, what about you?
I think we should have more people like Lynn.
What's that like? Like, what about Lynn?
Well, people who think theoretically, people who avoid conflict. No, leave that part out.
I love it. And what about people like you?
No, people like me don't feel a joy in participating.
No, but that's Marvin. What sibling do you want?
Well,
If
if
you
we're
want
supposed
to
to
have
connect,
people like
across
you.
if we're supposed to connect across differences, I want people who are totally not like me, because otherwise, who am I going to connect across?
Yeah,
I
we're all
get
the
it.
same. It's like,
You want another anti-authoritarian?
Yes. Are you volunteering?
No.
That's
You
good.
have that in
I
you.
want people who refuse to volunteer. That's good.
how about Rachel? Rachel, are you there?
I haven't gone.
Oh, sorry.
You
Yeah.
forgot me,
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
right.
gonna put
Oh, that was
myself in.
because you were reflecting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't know, I find this hard to do. I want people who put their foot in it, because that comforts me that I can put my foot in it. Yeah. That's what I would like, non-judgmental people. It's probably hard to find, right? I would like somebody who can take criticism. So I could learn from that person, and who could really take it, or take the negative and not be, thrown very much.
Sounds like you.
I think I'm thrown very much, but that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, but that's you know, that's very important to you. That's your North Star. in a sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As someone who can remain, like with this criticism, say, or who can still be present. I feel I get totally not present then. Or someone who, yeah, that's what I'd like. And somebody who can help me with that, who can help us all with that, but not someone too evolved, because I'd be jealous of them and hate them. They have to have problems too. How about that?
Sounds
Do
pretty
you think,
ideal.
Rachel? See, Rachel is
Rachel, what about your letter to Santa Claus? What?
My Maisie ran away. I was outside, and so I missed the question, but I loved the answer that I heard. What is the question about who we want in the
Yeah.
group?
We were sort of playing with
Ideal.
that we're like all the other countries, you know, that we want only to open our borders to people like us, and each one of us wants somebody like, you know, like me. And so we wondered who you would want as a new person.
Yeah, I definitely want somebody with problems. I agree. But I would think with like a hearty level of self-awareness or willingness to entertain that they could be wrong about their position or
Mhm.
how they're thinking about things, like open. I think open and whatever the thing I just said was about being yeah, like self-aware, open and self-aware, and not judgmental or moralistic. Maybe a detective. No, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say somebody like Mary Poppins, but I would be too jealous. But yeah, somebody, I don't know that I want somebody like me, but I'd want, if it was my country and I was letting in people or not letting in people.
Well,
Yeah,
no, that was just my metaphor. This is
yeah,
about our group.
no, I get it. But I think it's not too dissimilar. Yeah, somebody who can be present and can risk being present and doesn't feel like they have already made up their mind and has the answers, but is like willing to sort of hold the questions with us and play, and somebody who's curious.
Mhm. Mm. It's certainly a focusing trait.
Mhm.
How about somebody that has to take a lot of medicine?
We already have some of those people, I think. So those are usually the people I like.
Rachel, I really appreciate your entertaining the metaphor that Lynn brought up about if it was my country. Because then, you know, it does take on a real kind of depth of importance and commitment, not just to ourselves, but to the future. It's like, I don't really want a president who's a brain surgeon and that's his main accomplishment. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also if you ask the question that way, what if it were my country? It kind of makes it some distance from your personal,
Mhm.
Oh.
desires and needs and all that. And
Mhm.
so you're thinking more about like what would
Mm.
I think would be good for the group, or
Mm,
what for the whole group or for the process in the group or so I was thinking if it were my country, like I would love to have somebody uh coming to the group who also really helps us getting more into kind of the focusing interaction. Like I just feel wanting to have that more, like that we're asking more often for pauses, or that we're asking more often like, oh, what do you mean by that? Or all that kind of thing. Yeah, and Rachel said it too, like curiosity and all these kinds of
Mhm.
steps.
Mm. I like that. And I would also like someone who is very interested in getting what the other person is saying, and really getting it.
Mm.
I'm
Who's
going to put
open
all these
enough.
characteristics on my in my request for a partner on Match, and see what comes back.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll be curious, Marvin.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
some report about
Well, I'm saying to find someone who has all the qualities that we all have spoken about will be a real challenge for
Oh,
Lynn.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm thinking about about uh the metaphor and uh and how each wave of immigrants were resented and rejected, and then brought something so special and
Mhm.
important to this country, and all of the struggles about the displaced people and migrants and who will want them in their country. And when you think, oh well, I want this and this and this, it narrows it to a few people that are allowed. But usually the immigrants that have made major contributions were not people that were on the list of the people that were most sought out. And it's quite amazing. People came here from places where they were rejected in many ways and very poor and at their wits' end, and so I thought, well, we're going to be surprised by what anyone that we choose contributes, and how it will change us and how it will open us. And
Lynn, I appreciate you pointing that out. And you're continuing in your metaphor, really, if we were a country. And I'm wondering, that gets us really, first we have to assume somebody's going to want to come. and,
True.
and that And that, we might be stuck with one person that wants to come. But that aside, I think the question of how many people is useful. That also I remember Isabel asking that we please talk about that. But for myself, I was always struck by the academic research of a man in the 70s at Harvard, and who was very misunderstood because he had this body of replicable, honest response research that he came up with the idea that as long as the minority is no more than 1/3 of the group's body, that the intentions and goals and values of the group, as it was before, could be sustained somehow. So that's just a curious thing. If we have 14 people, what if we, that would get us down to whatever 1/3 of 14 is. It's a very, pragmatic way to make a decision. And I'd love to hear, what other people think about how you would make that decision if you were the one deciding.
If you have a lot of people, because I too think we may not have a lot of people. We've never had to turn people away because of too many, right?
It might be better not to say.
Yeah. I think I was I took what Isabel said of 3 people, and for some reason in my mind, I thought, well, that's what we said, but that often it was what Isabel said. I took it that way, but
I also, by the way, wonder, is there people here who think there should be 0 people?
What do you think, Yoka?
But yeah, no, but I do want to put that out before we start saying, oh, how many? Like I want to acknowledge, and I know of one person who thinks there should be, and she's not here. And so that I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what do I think? Yeah. I think I've talked with Susan a little bit about what we both thought of 1, 2, 3 persons, and for me, I think maybe 1 person is. I feel like that's not. I don't feel that's good to have 1 new person. It's like, oh, here's the 1 new person, in the group. And so that for that reason, I'd rather have 2 persons. And 3 almost sounds like already a little bit much. So that's where I am at now.
So even 2 sounds like it might be a little much. Is that what you were saying?
No, two would be okay, but 3 sounds maybe
Oh.
too much. Yeah, and 1 sounds too little.
Mm.
Not enough. Do you have thought about that, Jim? If and how many?
You're asking Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, I think we should have like 6 new people.
6.
More people than we already have. Because I want
16.
to change up.
Even more than we already have.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I think we need vast changes.
Oh. And we need to, and fast changes will happen by adding more people.
Well, you add only 3 people, then we colonize them and they copy us. But if you add lots of people, then we can't do that. Although I could think of some people we could add who won't be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, I'm intrigued about what vast changes you would like.
Well, some of the changes I want are things I don't know in advance. I mean, I don't want to specify how things are. I want things to be a surprise. I don't think I get surprised enough here.
Yeah, so then surprise would be a change, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have
That's Jim, I just want to say that's that's a provocative idea in the sense that it's, interesting that that it's something to imagine. Do I want more surprises? And if so, how can I find a way to engineer that we have more surprises among us? Not leaving those aside. Yeah, I appreciate that. Makes me think, just like Marvin's notion makes me think about how long is the pause and when it gets to be uncomfortable. It's about me somewhat. And it's also about my value that this group do something that we can account for, some evidence-based accounting. And when people just are not speaking for a long, long time, then my evidence is that we love long silences or, whatever, or we like to not be surprised in Jim's case. I know I'm becoming more pragmatic, but I do find the pragmatic thing helpful because it helps to make the decision in the final analysis. If assuming more than, well, God, Jim, more than 7 people apply, or 6.
well, it doesn't really have to be more people, but just enough to make a difference, enough to shake up the culture, enough to get the white people worried.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Enough of them to put on their MAGA hats and think that they're losing control of the country.
Well, I like Jim's idea about having more surprises because I do feel often our conversation is too predictable. And if we come to a point at the end of a meeting where it's sort of like the end of the last meeting and the end of the prior meeting. So I want more surprises too, but I'm wondering too about other words that or other qualities that people would like in bringing on new people. That is, it goes to the question of why bring on new people? What do we want that we don't have from the present cast? Surprise is fun because we are who we are. So what is
Yeah.
it, what is it that we're looking for?
I think what you're saying, Marvin, is also that in talking about what we want in new people, we're talking about what we want more of in our group.
Yes.
Jim wants more surprises in his group. You want more engagement.
Susan wants people who are willing to put their foot in, that the group could use that. And, Rachel, I haven't heard you say, I heard you, but I can't find one word.
Yeah, it's such an interesting question because it has me thinking about like, what do I want? What do I lack? What do I need? What do I have to be to welcome or attract who we want? What would I be asking for if it was a partner, like Marvin alluded to, like on Match or on something like that? And I'm not answering you very well, BJ,
No,
but
that's all right, you're coming to it.
we'll see. That's a lot of trust. Thank you. Like the word surprise to me sort of hinges on or feels a little bit like too much of a sort of blood relative or to share too many things with something that's going to give me more PTSD or trigger me. Like, I don't know what kind of surprise I would like. And I'm thinking of things that surprise me are usually like melanoma or a mortgage payment was missed or somebody just said something horrible about me and I thought I was in a safe space for a moment. And so then I was just trying to think, what are lovely surprises? And that's like when it's not that surprising when something buds, but it sort of is kind of wonderful when something buds that you planted or that somebody planted for you or that, you don't know if it's going to bud all the time. And I think it's surprising, like when you sprinkle that confetti that you get at the party stores on your furniture. So those are two things I can think of that are pleasant surprises and do not cause PTSD. But I guess I want somebody who's stable, like who shows up. Like I love that about Jim. Even if he's not talking or he's talking or he's doing IT stuff for us, he's there. He's there. Like I can scan and I can tell if things are okay if Jim is present. I feel that way with him and so that's important to me, like somebody who shows up. I don't have that. I don't have that inside like that. So I really hunger for it outside and I long for it in others. And even if I don't have anything in common with someone else, if they show up, if they're like regularly there, they're the ones who turn the lights on or lock up at night. In my later years, I really feel like that's so important. It almost makes me want to cry.
Thank you, Rachel. When you talk about stability, I remember you 3 years ago saying that people who will stay at the TV, just if you'll stay. And Kate saying, oh my God, the other week when Kate said, don't leave.
Yes. Oof. I remember, BJ, when you said that we were all watching TV and you were going to stay until the show was over.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago before this group.
Yeah.
But that stability.
I remember that too.
When you said that about surprises, Jim, and I thought, well, if we're really talking about what we want from ourselves, how can I be more surprising? And then I thought of in the helpers group, we were asked, I think by Charles, how we wanted to relate, what, how we wished that, how we relate and how we wanted to relate. And I remember thinking that I want to be easier with my vulnerability as a leader. And then that led me to the thought that when we were all saying, at the beginning when we were playing about wanting somebody like me, and I said that I wanted somebody that was theoretically oriented or something like that. And then Jim picked up on that. And I thought, I feel like sometimes I feel like a minority, and that my hunger for the theoretical isn't always welcomed, is the way I feel. And so I want somebody else who has the hunger for the theoretical, so I won't feel like a minority. And then I wondered, if other people feel that way, if Marvin, you don't want to feel like a minority in being outspoken, and Yoka, you don't want to feel like a minority in needing encouragement to speak. Jim, you feel like a minority in being able to say no.
Lynn, can I ask you a little bit more to just unpack the word of, like, you want somebody who's interested in theory or thinking theoretically? Can you just say a little bit more, if you haven't already, what it is about that, or what that is, because it stays sort of theoretical in my understanding.
I was my saying it that way isn't being surprising and being more vulnerable, is it? I think that from the time I was a little girl and I was very isolated as a child, what gave me inspiration, comfort, a feeling of belonging in a larger world was hiding in my father's car, reading the Bible and writing what that meant to me, what it said in the Bible and how it was speaking to me. And I think that I'm still that child that feels
Sorry. Sorry.
it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Put yourself on mute, Susan. Oh, I can mute him. Ah.
It's okay, Susan,
That was a surprise.
to say that. Yes, but for Susan, yes, Susan surprised us. So in some way, I feel that child in me that feels the sense of belonging to a bigger world through the theoretical. And what I mean by that is, like, even the idea that we are like all the other countries, groups, everything, and wanting reluctant to open our borders. That gave me, when I thought of that gave me this wonderful feeling of, oh, that's what's happening here. That's how the world works. That's what that helped me understand the social political situation and our situation. And so, I had a delight in that interpretation. And then I was very happy. Everybody picked up on it. Everybody was willing to play with me there. And so that felt satisfying to that part of me. Was that surprising, Jim?
Well,
Not to put you on the spot.
was it surprising that was satisfying? No.
I thought it was a little stretch, Lynn, your analogy.
But I guess what I'm saying is, was it surprising when I tried to come back to my own vulnerability? That's what I felt was the place. I was wanting us to have more surprises by being surprising and not being our usual way. So I was trying to be more vulnerable, to stretch myself. And I wondered if that felt like that to people, that I was being a little bit more personal, vulnerable, something about the theoretical, not.
Yes, Lynn, for me, the word I heard was hiding.
Was
hiding. You were hiding in the car doing this. And I felt a lot of vulnerability from you in that.
Well, I was really hiding from my mother, who was very contemptuous of my reading the Bible. It wasn't intellectual enough for her. But I was hiding from, it was like I wanted that, it was like a focusing space of being myself.
Sometimes I think the conceptual is hiding from the reality of our difficult lives and hiding from things like race, hiding from things like gender and sexual concerns. We don't talk about those kinds of things very often. And we just touch on them. We don't often get into particulars.
I think that we may have a difference in how we use the word conceptual. For me, when I say conceptual, what I mean is looking at the larger scope. And I felt like we were doing that last week with Isabel, and looking at the lived reality of sameness and difference. I felt like we did that in our talking about trans stuff, talking about death, talking about all the things that are hard to talk about, that when we can talk about them and see them in a larger perspective of this is in the world and this is in us, that's what I mean. I don't mean abstractions. And I'm not really asking the group anything about that right now. I was really just wanting for myself to be a little different. I didn't want you to have to discuss whether you want people that are more theoretical in the group or not. That was more of a joke.
I'm glad Rachel asked you, because it helps to highlight that what is for me a very core focusing principle, that the words don't necessarily mean what you say. As Jean said, the meaning is what they heard me say.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Oh,
Susan, are you
Susan, you're
speaking to
muted.
us?
Sorry, I was going to say, I find you very sympathetic to others' feelings. And I don't think of that as theoretical, although I do know this part of you that relates the small to the big.
Mhm.
I guess I grew up thinking theory was dry, you know, and kind of dead. Your theory is not at all dead to me. But I'm saying that I also find you emotionally very present to us, each of us.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Me too.
Sometimes I think that a refusal to think theoretically is really a refusal to give your felt sense a handle. That you just you don't want to own it. You know, put a concept around it.
Hmm.
Wait a minute, could you say that again, Jim? Maybe not exactly as you said it. I thought I knew where you were going, but then I was surprised.
Well, I'm
He
thinking-
surprised you.
that's good. Surprise is good. I'm thinking in terms of to quote a theoretician, Donnell Stern, who talks about unformulated experience. His idea is that people who don't want to experience things won't formulate it. So it goes away. It's like if you don't give it a name, you don't have to know it's there.
Interesting.
So conceptual brings up for you the idea of being willing to give something its name. That's a part of what makes it real or present or something like that.
But not its name, a name. You could give it a new name. Like,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I like
but
that.
something to bring it into the world, as opposed to something that just passes through and now it's gone.
Oh, golly, I know I'm talking a lot, but it's because I'm drugged up. I'm not even trying not to.
I have no excuse.
Jim, I love that. But it's clearly an opinion about all of this. And it brought up for me, my mother had this opinion. She was an OBGYN nurse for 45 years. And she would always caution patients against giving their children names before it was clear that they were going to live to go home. And it was different, that's not necessarily my opinion at all, but it strikes me as some kind of a human value that you're talking about. It was what
That's
she
part of
was.
exactly what I agree with your mother on that.
That's what you meant. I mean, I love the idea that a theory is a handle, and it's as a handle, it might be the wrong handle for the felt sense or whatever, but that a theory isn't a law or a theory isn't an abstraction, because if a theory is a handle, then it captures something. Like Donnell Stern's phrase, since you brought him up, unformulated experience is a handle for the implicit, but Donnell Stern also talks about courting surprise, and I always loved that as it captures something, that we're courting surprise, and maybe inviting some new people is a way of courting surprise. Did I get what you were saying correctly, Jim? That that the theory is a handle and that the not wanting to give an experience a handle can be an unwillingness to bring it down to bring your experience into the world.
Where'd he go?
I think my question vanished him.
He'll be
He went,
back.
he went to unformulated experience.
Hey, Van. Yeah.
Masumi, dear Masumi, where are you right now?
Oh, I have been stuck by not understanding some of the words that expressed, like courting, something that just what Lynn said. What is courting?
Oh, thank you, Masumi. Thank you. Courting is an old-fashioned word, meaning when you want to you want somebody as your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you try to win them over. You bring them flowers, you bring them candy. You're
Oh, that courting.
courting, yes. Yes.
I heard the word in a verse of a song. Like, what was the song? I don't. Daisy, Daisy.
Your answer true.
When we were young, I don't remember the song that I heard long, long time ago.
That's crazy.
I know that song,
Yeah.
but that song is about courting.
It is, Susan, but it doesn't, I don't think it uses the word courting in it. It kind of is the essence of courting.
Oh.
You'll have to tell us next time, Masumi. You know, it's 5 minutes to 8. And how is it to talk about our projects next time? Do we feel ready to do that? Or I love Yoka's idea of having another group that's a beginning force group. But welcome back, Jim. I seem to have vanished you with my question.
You're muted, Jim.
What was your question? Everything kind of froze, but it was me freezing, actually.
Mm.
Projects. She wants to know what we're thinking about our projects.
Can we
At this-
talk about, can we talk about our projects next time? Are people ready to do that? Because this would be the time.
So not right now, but you're just asking, thinking.
Yeah,
forward.
it's 5 to 8. So I'm just
Mhm.
wondering if we.
Well, I feel like we're not done yet. I don't think we could give Isabel an answer about new people.
Oh, you don't think that we have an answer about whether we're going to have new people or not?
And how many? Yeah.
Well, I think that the how many feels a little abstract. It's like you don't know, we don't know who and how many the people are that, you know, it's sort of like deciding how many children you want.
Yeah.
But do you know how you're going to how new people are going to be recruited?
Well, Gray would like to be part of the group, and we can think about that. I was thinking I would like to invite do you know this person, Masumi? She's, I think, Chinese and has a very lovely grasp, I think, of the focusing um, uh, engagement. I know her from the helpers group, and then
Yes.
we're gonna see who, who are people that you that you would want to invite.
Okay, okay. That I like that. That gives me a grasp on something. So you've named a couple of people, and you would like for us to feel
Yeah.
free to say who we think from our
Right.
own experience. Okay,
Right.
and I like the idea that you are talking about people who some of us are familiar with from the focusing world. So that would
Right.
take care of my need that
Right.
this is somebody who knows what we're doing.
Right.
So thank you. And I would like to invite somebody who's contrarian. I don't think we could have, I don't know, can we have nepotism and invite Liz and Jim? Have Liz and Jim here and we'll have to talk about that. I think, well, but if we decided not to have nepotism, Masumi, Jim's spouse is in some of our other groups, and she's a lovely vocal contrarian voice.
Contrarian.
So, Liz, can you hear us?
He's
Well,
not,
we can't.
he doesn't want to come.
Can't hear
Okay.
anything.
Come
Okay,
here.
good.
Monica.
Okay, she don't want to come. She's contrarian.
Oh, there she is.
Well,
Hey,
once I'm here, then nobody can actually say what they think about me. So I'd rather get to talk about me behind my back.
okay, I like that. I like that.
Thank you, though. So I wasn't listening. I don't know what I just heard the very end of it. So
Yes,
I don't
We-
know. Just hope it was not too unkind.
desirable. It was about you being desirable and us courting you.
Courting, surprise.
That's courting.
Thank you,
Any
Lynn.
last words that anybody has to say? And
Say
Uh,
hi, Ian.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
Oh,
Hi, Kitty.
Sorry.
so we have how many times left?
two.
You said two more after this one.
Yeah, so if we don't do the projects next time, that would mean that we wouldn't have a concluding session. So I'm not sure what that means.
What you're saying is what you're saying that you find the projects to be valuable.
Oh,
And
of
you
course.
and you want us to give some imagination to that and to speak about it.
And for people to present their projects, to have,
Mm.
as we've always done,
Yes.
that we've always had at the people presenting what this year has meant to you and something about what you learned and something about what you're interested in carrying forward.
Well, thank you. That's beautiful. I wish you'd write that down, because I was
Okay.
kind of under the impression that what you wanted was for us to facilitate a group with 3 or 4 other people.
Well, that
And-
would be one, that would be an example of one kind of project.
But you're open to lots, to all those questions you asked.
Yes. I mean, I think, Nancy would have a different,
Oh, yeah, Nancy.
Kind
What's
of-
Nancy?
yes,
Yeah.
Oh,
What happened to Nancy?
it's a very, Nancy, Mary, Kate,
Berto,
Roberta,
Roberto.
Isabel. Yeah.
and
Wow,
Isabel.
5 of us.
Yeah.
People are missing.
And Kate, but do we know where Kate is?
So that those are the 5. Maybe we can check up on them. Well, we know where Isabel is. She's
Yeah.
away, but we
Mhm.
don't know about the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the projects each person might have their own carrying forward that might have nothing to do with facilitating a small group. Some people might want to, go to Isabel's group and be present with that cousin group. Some people might I would love the idea of starting a new group, a new force group, and having some people, willing to facilitate that.
Wow.
But I'm not sure everybody's on board with that.
With
Maybe
what?
we should ask who's planning to present a project.
Well, now that I know it's broader, I can say for sure I'm willing. Because I don't have the energy. I to do a group, to do it, it's worth.
Right,
But I have a lot of energy to think as I'm just lying in my chair all day.
right. And Annette also,
Oh,
Annette.
Yeah.
Wow.
that's 6 people.
6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8. En 6
we
is
are a
14,
very
ja.
little group tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6 people are, and I think that Annette is doing some empathy circles about climate change. Masumi has 3 presentations that are going into the world. So we can maybe Marvin is going to do a focusing oriented bridge club where you the felt sense of the next move.
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay.
An adorable dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I have
amazing.
one more
Oh.
thing as an idea
Yes.
of
Go
like
ahead,
Masumi's
TJ.
already doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So what if one of her projects, that I'm just using you as an example. What if one of her projects were to report about that to us? I would love to know how you figured out a short enough version of interactive focusing. I would be intrigued to hear that.
Yeah.
Also, I would be
Great
intrigued to hear
idea.
how you teach beginning focusing. Does that make sense, Lynn?
Yes, that we would each, I mean, the way we've done it in the past is each person has had 10 to 15 minutes to talk about either something they're doing or something they want to do, and having the opportunity to have feedback on that. That's what we've done in the past.
Yeah, so it includes something that you're kind of aspiring to do. Or,
Yes,
yeah,
that
so
you want to
and-
shape and have the group.
share and shape and
Yes,
and
right.
further it or something. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, we're over time. Marvin,
Yep.
you look dubious.
Well, you're correct in reading my face.
See, you didn't have to say anything. Just
Right.
Although I was thinking in terms of my own self, whether I want to do a project, and I don't want to feel that I have to do something.
No. We don't want anybody to ever feel that they have to do anything, right, Jim? That's
Well, unfortunately, some people are gonna feel they have to do things, whether you want them to or not.
well, people we'll all feel all kinds of things.
That's
Okay.
the problem.
I want to thank you. I didn't feel the pain in my foot because I was very absorbed in the meeting.
So I want to thank you all for giving me a pain-free evening.
Well, good.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.